The world of motorcycling is infested with deadly lies masquerading as wisdom. New riders are soaking up outdated myths from supposedly experienced riders who have actually been repeating the same mistakes for 30 years. We compiled the ultimate list of the 10 worst pieces of advice that will send you to the hospital. From the loud pipes to the suicidal layer-down myth, we are debunking the stupidity that kills beginners. Do not twist the throttle until you purge these lies from your brain. Number 10. Avoid riding altogether. We start our countdown with the most pervasive, annoying, and useless piece of advice every rider hears. It usually comes from your mother, your concerned coworker, or that neighbor who knew a guy who knew a guy. The advice is simple, blunt, and crushing. Don't get a motorcycle. It's a death wish. You will die. This is bad advice, not because the danger isn't real. Motorcycling is inherently dangerous, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying, but because it is rooted in fear rather than understanding. It treats life as a game of mere survival rather than an experience to be lived. When someone tells you to avoid riding altogether, they are projecting their own risk intolerance onto you. They are telling you that the safety of the couch is worth more than the freedom of the road. They are valuing quantity of life over quality of life. The reality is that life is fatal. You can die slipping in the shower. You can die from heart disease caused by sitting in a safe, comfortable chair for 40 years. Motorcycling creates a connection to the world that non-riders simply cannot comprehend. It forces you to be present. It demands focus. It creates a community of brotherhood and sisterhood that transcends politics, race, and background. To avoid it simply because it's dangerous is to deny yourself one of the most intense, rewarding experiences a human being can have. Instead of don't ride, the advice should be manage the risk, wear the gear, take the courses, ride sober, ride smart, but do not let the fearmonger steal your passion before you even turn the key. If we all listened to this advice, nobody would ever leave the house, the human spirit would rot, and we would all live long, boring lives filled with regret. But while the non-riders try to keep you off the bike, the riders themselves often give you advice that creates a false sense of security, convincing you that noise is a substitute for skill. Like this video if you agree with us, comment if you don't. Number 9. Loud pipes save lives. You will hear this screamed over the deafening roar of a straight-piped cruiser at every bike night in America. It is the classic justification for modifying an exhaust system to EER bleeding levels. The logic seems sound on the surface. If the car drivers can hear me, they won't hit me. It is a comforting thought, isn't it? That your exhaust is an invisible force field protecting you from the soccer mom in the SUV. But this is scientifically flawed and dangerous advice because it breeds complacency. Here's the physics lesson that the loud pipes crowd ignores. Exhaust pipes face backwards. Sound waves from an exhaust are directional. They travel away from the motorcycle. When you are moving forward at 60 miles per hour, you are literally leaving the sound behind you. When a car is about to kill you, the danger is usually coming from the front or the side. At highway speeds, the Doppler effect, combined with the sound insulation of modern luxury cars, means that the driver literally cannot hear you until you have already passed them. Your modern cars are designed to be soundproof cocoons. By the time the driver hears the roar of your pipes, the accident has either already happened or been avoided by sheer luck. Relying on noise to protect you is lazy riding. It assumes that you can passive-aggressively bully drivers into noticing you with sound. The truth is, visibility saves lives. Lane position saves lives. Predictive riding saves lives. A bright yellow helmet or a modulating headlight is infinitely more effective at preventing a left-turn collision than a loud exhaust. If you want loud pipes because you like the sound, that is fine. Admit it. But do not lie to yourself and call it safety equipment. It is a noise violation, not a shield. Relying on sound is bad, but relying on gravity is even worse. There is a specific lie that old-timers tell to cover up their own panic, and it is arguably the most ridiculous myth in the history of transportation. Number 8. You gotta layer down. This is the hallmark of the untrained rider. You will hear old-timers tell war stories at the bar that sound exactly like this. I was coming up on that truck, and I knew I wasn't gonna stop in time, so I had to layer down to avoid the crash. This is absolute insanity. There is never, under any circumstances, a situation where sliding on your ass along the asphalt is safer than staying on the tires. Let's look at the physics. Rubber tires are designed to create friction. They grip the road. Plastic fairings, chrome steel, and human skin have a much lower coefficient of friction. They slide. They act like a sled. When you are upright, you have brakes, you have steering, you have options. You can brake hard to scrub off speed, you can swerve to miss the obstacle. Even if you can't stop in time, hitting a car at 20 miles per hour while braking is infinitely better than sliding into it at 40 miles per hour with zero control. When you lay it down, you are surrendering. You are turning yourself into a human bowling ball. You have zero control over your trajectory. You might slide under the wheels of the truck. You might slide into a guardrail, which will act like a cheese slicer. You have given up your ability to save the situation. This advice is a relic from the 50s, when brakes were terrible. But today, it usually comes from riders who grabbed the rear brake in a panic, locked up the wheel, and crashed. To save their ego, they claim they did it on purpose. Do not believe them. Keep the bike upright, use the brakes, and fight for control until the very last millisecond. The safest thing you can do today is liking this video. Thank you. And yes, crashing physically is one thing, but crashing mentally is another. There is a toxic culture in motorcycling that encourages you to ride when you are emotionally unstable, treating the highway like a psychiatrist's couch. Number 7. You'll never see a motorcycle parked at a therapist's office. This is a catchy bumper sticker that you see at every rally, but as actual riding advice, it is toxic and dangerous. It suggests that riding a motorcycle is a substitute for mental health care. It romanticizes the idea of riding while emotional, angry, or depressed. It calls it wine therapy, but often it ends up being physical therapy or a funeral. Riding a motorcycle requires 100% of your cognitive processing power. It demands total focus. It is a high-stakes chess match with death. If you are going through a divorce, if you are grieving a lost loved one, or if you're seething with rage because of your boss, getting on a motorcycle is the worst thing you can do. When you are emotional, your body is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Your reaction times slow down. Your risk assessment goes out the window. You ride faster, more aggressively, and with less care for your own safety. You create a phenomenon called red mist, where you are distracted by the thoughts in your head instead of the car turning left in front of you. You miss the patch of gravel because you are replaying an argument in your mind. The road does not care about your feelings. A patch of oil won't move out of the way because you are having a bad day. Treat the ride with respect. If your head isn't in the game, keep the kickstand down. Go to the gym, go for a run, or actually go to a therapist. Save the bike for when you can give it the attention it deserves. Using a motorcycle as an escape mechanism for trauma is a one-way ticket to a crash statistics report. While mental state is crucial, physical fit is also misunderstood. There is a form of gatekeeping that stops shorter riders from enjoying the best machines on the market, based purely on height rather than skill. Number 6. That bike is too big for you. We see this happen constantly, and it is usually directed at shorter riders or female riders. Someone walks into a dealership, looks at a big adventure bike like a BMW GS or a tall sport tourer, and a helpful bystander says, "Don't get that. It's too big. You can't flat-foot it. You'll drop it." This is gatekeeping disguised as safety advice. It perpetuates the myth that you need to be 6'2" to ride a big bike. The truth is, riding has nothing to do with your inseam and everything to do with your technique. We have seen 5'4" riders dominate on massive adventure bikes off-road. We have seen petite women handle 900-pound Harley baggers with more grace than burly gym rats. It is all about balance, clutch control, and knowing how to shift your body weight. By telling someone a bike is too big, you are limiting their potential. You are forcing them onto smaller, cramped bikes that they will outgrow in 6 months. You are denying them the comfort and capability of the machines they actually want. Yes, a tall bike is harder to manage at a stoplight, but there are techniques, the one-cheek sneak, sliding off the seat to get a foot down, that can conquer any seat height. If you can get one toe down, you can ride the bike. The bike only weighs something when it is stopped or leaning. Once it is moving, physics takes over and it becomes weightless. Do not let someone's lack of skill dictate your choice of machine. If you want the big bike, learn the skills to ride the big bike. Don't settle for the small option just because someone thinks you look too short. Have you ever been told a bike was too big or too powerful for you? Did you listen or did you prove them wrong? Tell me your story in the comments. Size doesn't matter, does it? There is a complacent attitude among commuters that suggests safety gear is only for real rides, leaving them exposed when they are most vulnerable. Number 5. You don't need riding gear for short trips. I'm just going to the store. I'm just riding to the gym. It's too hot for a jacket. This is the advice of the squid. Stupid, quick, underdressed, imminent death. The logic is that accidents only happen on long road trips, high-speed canyon runs, or track days. But the statistics tell a very different, very bloody story. Most motorcycle accidents happen within 5 miles of your home. They happen at low speeds in familiar intersections. They happen when you least expect them because your guard is down. Asphalt acts like a cheese grater, whether you are 5 miles from home or 500. If you come off your bike at 30 miles per hour in a t-shirt, you are going to lose skin. You're going to need skin grafts. You're going to spend weeks having a nurse scrub gravel out of your raw flesh with a wire brush. The road rash does not care that you were just going to get milk. Furthermore, other drivers are just as blind near your house as they are on the highway. In fact, you are often less alert on short trips because you are in commuter mode. You are thinking about dinner, not the ride. This complacency is exactly why you need the gear. Dress for the slide, not the ride. It takes 2 minutes to put on a jacket, helmet, and gloves. Those 2 minutes can save you months of agonizing pain in a burn unit. If it is too hot to wear gear, it is too hot to ride. There is no such thing as a safe short trip. While gear protects your body, understanding your controls protects your life. There is a specific braking myth perpetuated by the heavy cruiser crowd that fundamentally misunderstands the physics of stopping a motorcycle. Number 4. Harley rider advice: don't use the front brake. This is an old-school myth that refuses to die, particularly in the heavy cruiser community. You will hear an old biker tell a new rider, "Be careful with that front brake, it'll send you over the handlebars." I mostly use the rear brake. It settles the bike. This advice is dangerously obsolete and scientifically wrong. On any motorcycle, roughly 70 to 80% of your stopping power comes from the front brake. Let's look at the physics of deceleration. When you apply the brakes, weight transfers forward. The front forks compress. The front tire gets pushed into the pavement, increasing its contact patch and grip. Simultaneously, the rear tire gets light. It lifts. This decreases its grip. If you rely on the rear brake in an emergency, the rear wheel will lock up almost instantly because it has no weight on it. You will skid. A skid slows you down very inefficiently. You will slide right into the back of the car you're trying to avoid. The front brake is your lifeline. Modern motorcycles have massive dual discs up front for a reason. You will not flip over the handlebars unless you grab a handful of brake instantly like a gorilla. With progressive squeezing, you can lift the rear wheel off the ground and still be perfectly in control. Telling a new rider to ignore the front brake is telling them to ignore their primary safety mechanism. It increases stopping distances by double or triple. In a panic situation, if your muscle memory is stomp the rear pedal, you are going to crash. Learn to love the front brake. It is the one that saves your life. We are entering the danger zone. The top 3 are not just bad advice, they are lethal. We have a catchy rhyme borrowed from dirt bikes that is sending street riders off cliffs. We have purists telling you to disable the single greatest lifeline engineers ever built. And the number 1 spot, it is the specific lie that puts thousands of new riders in the grave every single year because they were too proud to start small. Do not buy a bike until you hear this. Let's go. Number 3. When in doubt, throttle out. This is a catchy rhyme that originated in the dirt bike world. Off-road, in deep sand or mud, this is actually good advice. If the front wheel gets wobbly or you hit deep silt, adding throttle shifts weight to the rear, lightens the front, and stabilizes the bike. It prevents the front wheel from digging in and throwing you over the bars. But when this advice migrates to the street, it becomes lethal. On the street, panic usually happens in a corner. You enter a turn too fast. You get scared. You think you are going to run wide. Your survival reaction kicks in. If you follow the advice, when in doubt, throttle out, you are going to accelerate. Basic physics dictates that acceleration widens your turning radius. It stands the bike up. It stops the bike from turning. If you are already running wide in a corner and you add throttle, you are going to send yourself directly into the oncoming lane or off the cliff. On the pavement, when you are in trouble, the answer is rarely more speed. The answer is usually look where you want to go, lean more, and maintain steady throttle or gently roll off to tighten the line. Adding speed when your brain is already overwhelmed with panic is a recipe for target fixation and disaster. This advice creates riders who react to fear with aggression. It works on a motocross track. It does not work when there is a minivan in your lane. Do not treat the street like a dirt track. If you want to know the real techniques for saving a corner, make sure to subscribe. We break down cornering physics in detail on this channel. While throttle control is vital, accepting technology is just as important. There's a stubborn group of purists who believe their human reflexes are superior to millions of dollars of engineering, and they are convincing new riders to reject the biggest safety net available. Number 2, you don't need a BS. This is the advice of the purist, the guy who thinks he is Valentino Rossi. He will tell you, I don't want a computer interfering with my riding. I can brake better than a machine. ABS is for beginners. This is ego talking, not fact. Unless your name is actually Marc Marquez, you cannot outbrake a modern ABS system in a panic situation on the street. On a racetrack with perfect asphalt, heated slick tires, and a focused mind, a pro rider might beat ABS. But on the street, when it is raining, when there is oil at the intersection, when a deer jumps out and your heart rate spikes to 200, you are going to grab that brake lever with a death grip. Without ABS, the front wheel locks. The tire tucks, you crash. It happens in the blink of an eye. Game over. With ABS, the computer detects the lockup in milliseconds. It pulses the brakes, maintains traction, and crucially, it allows you to steer while braking. It turns a guaranteed crash into a close call. Telling a new rider to avoid ABS or to disable it is criminal. It is the single greatest safety innovation in motorcycling history. It is a safety net that sits silently in the background until the one moment you screw up. And we all screw up eventually. Do not let someone's ego convince you to disable the technology that keeps you alive. And finally, the number 1 worst piece of motorcycle advice, the Widowmaker, the advice that puts thousands of young riders in the ground every single year. Number 1, start on a 600cc Supersport. Here it is, the biggest lie in the industry, the most common, most deadly piece of advice given to young riders everywhere. Don't get a 300 or a 400, you'll get bored in 2 weeks. Get a 600, just respect the throttle and you'll be fine. This advice kills people. Let's be clear, a 600cc Supersport is a race bike with lights. It is designed to win trophies, not to teach you how to ride. First, let's talk about the power band. These bikes make 0 power below 8,000 RPM. They feel gutless around town. So, the new rider gives it more throttle to merge onto the highway. Suddenly, the engine hits 10,000 RPM, and the power explodes. It doubles instantly. The front wheel comes up. The rider panics, freezes on the throttle, and loops the bike or flies into a tree at 100 miles per hour. Second, the brakes. The brakes on a Supersport are designed to stop from 160 miles per hour on a track. They are incredibly sensitive. One panic grab with an inexperienced hand will lock the wheel instantly, flipping the bike or tucking the front. Third, the geometry. These bikes are twitchy. They are designed to turn in instantly with the slightest input. They are unstable at low speeds. They are physically uncomfortable, which distracts a new rider from learning. Respecting the throttle is a myth. You cannot respect what you do not understand. A new rider does not have the fine motor control to manage a hair trigger throttle over bumps and potholes. Starting on a 600 slows down your learning curve because you are terrified of the bike. You spend 90% of your brain power trying not to die, and only 10% learning how to turn. A rider on a Ninja 400 will ride circles around a beginner on an R6 because the 400 rider is confident. This advice is usually given by guys who want their friends to look cool, not ride well. It is vanity. It is dangerous. Start small, learn the skills, push the limits of a slow bike, and earn the right to ride the missile. Do not become a statistic because you are too proud to ride a beginner bike. Click this video right here if you want to continue the ride. So before you go, hit that like button, subscribe, and ride safe.